Happy Sunday, y'all. How's everybody doing? You guys hear me okay? I don't got the fancy mic on right now because it needs to charge. Y'all hear me? Anybody? Somebody type if y'all can hear me. Yes, yes, yes. Awesome. Okay, cool. It's just with the iPhone mic right now, so. What's going on, everybody? How you guys doing? What's up, guys? Oh, kind of tired right now. I got this iPhone up on a little phone gimbal, which should make smooth motion, but it's kind of hard to keep myself in frame. Because, let me try to hold it this way, maybe. No, I gotta put it down eventually. Man, I still need a haircut. I'm tired. I'm gonna go today. Hopefully. If not, tomorrow morning. So how's everybody doing today? You guys good? Morning, Tim. Oh. This room is a mess right now. I've been working on this computer since I got it. Let me flip this camera around real quick. Try to get y'all a better view of this. So I ended up, if y'all saw the last one, what's up, Sean? Leaving this in an upright position because all my cards that I needed to fit down behind it are actually small and fit there. So I need some more light to get over here, but I can fit my Elgato capture card right there. This USB card was already on the bottom, and it fits. I had to take the graphics card out, plug the other things in behind it. I was able to put the graphics card back in this way. And then I swapped the fans for Noctua fans. These are Chromax Noctua fans. Put these nice little white rubber borders on them, so there's no rubbing. These are pretty cool, pretty simple. So intake fans here, Noctua exhaust fan at the top over here. And then you got the two Cooler Master RGB fans on the top blowing through the radiator. So for any of you guys familiar with cars, doing this is basically you got water in here. So AIO water cooler. Water runs through up here into the radiator and then goes through a channel, comes back down the other one, back to the CPU cooler, because your actual CPU is under there. And it's pretty similar to like the process of an intercooler on a turboed car. So that's where that's at. I swapped the RAM out too. It was using this, came with this Forza RAM. This RAM stick, while it has a heat sink and whatever, it's decent. It's kind of light. It was, so that's all swapped out for these Hyper X's in there. Sub-Serena. But this place is a mess still right now. I got a mess everywhere. All over the place, which I still got to work out. See, my chair is just full of mess. Stuff from the fans. These were the original fans that were in here. And they just came with the case. They're really lightweight, cheap fans. And only got 1,000 RPMs, 33 CFM. Made in China. They're like super duper light. And they were really noisy. So, garbage. And they got swapped out for these Noctua fans here, which are way heavier, way nicer fans. I mean, Noctua is best PC fan period to me. It have been for a long time. So if you guys see those two fans there, those are pushing air in. This one on this side sucks air out. It's a different fan design. I don't know how well you guys could see that from here, but that's a fan design meant for something with way less obstruction of airflow, such as just a case fan for an exhaust. And then this fan design over here, which is very full of blades, is meant for something where the airflow is not as strong, like if it was up against a radiator like this, which would be blocking the flow. This isn't against the radiator, but inside here, there's a dust filter, and the front of the case is not open. It's closed. So there's really no airflow coming in from this side, much at all. There's a very slight gap here, if I could even get it in focus. And you can see here a little bit, very slight gap. All the air that goes inside the computer is actually pulled from right here. You guys can see some messing with the cables back on the backside. So all the air comes through here, these vents on the side, and gets sucked through this very small area right here and pushed into the computer right here. So you need strong fans right here. Not so strong necessary here because it's already wide open. And in most computer airflow cases, you want more air coming in faster than actual air going out, so that you just constantly keep cool air. What's kind of cool is this blows air out. This is hot. It's going to be very hot air from the graphics card, and the glass is right here. So it's going to slap the glass and go straight up the glass and out the exhaust, which should be pretty good. That should work out well. I mean, it'll go up through here too, which might not be the best idea, but this fan is pushing more air than either of these fans individually. Plus you got the air coming in this way along with this going up. So I think it'll maintain a pretty decent airflow from what I've seen so far. The whole top is off on this thing, but normally, you know, I could even put another fan right here if I wanted to, but I don't really see the point in doing that, because if it's an exhaust, it's just going to suck air up straight away that's coming in from here, which would make no sense because you want the air to flow through here, the cool air. I could put it down, but if you put it down, right, I don't know how well. I mean, that would be the only one that might be a semi-decent option, would be to move it down. In order to do that, I have to move this back a little further too, so I could fit the fan. This would have to go back to the edge. I think it's fine the way it is, just leaving an open airspace there. It'll be all right. It's got a top anyway for, if I can get it here. This just goes up here like that. It's all magnetic and just drops in, so that way it's just a grate. And then you got your glass on the side, plain black casing on this back side over here. That just has a plain black sleeve. This lights up, which I don't really care that it lights up, and then your power button lights up. And that's really it. The motherboard stays lit up all the time. Which is kind of cool, but that's it. I didn't go overkill on the RGB or anything, only what was already here, which was these two fans and the motherboard. Other than that, I just cared about the cooling for the most part, so I went with the Noctua fans. I figured a little splash of white in the corners here would match nicely with the black and white cables, which kind of look gray and white in this light, but they're whatever. Gray and white, black and white, all blends well. And I'll probably keep most of the lighting like a ice blue color or whatever. It does light up in here once I'm done with it. So that's where it's at. It's about ready to go. So this thing should be really, really nice now that it's all set up and running. And it's working. I just haven't got everything plugged into it because, let me show y'all, right? This over here is still a mess. I got a big mess of wires over here from trying to fix this old thing. But everything's still plugged into this, except like these two monitors right here are still plugged into this right here, to the old computer. I just set up this one monitor here with this computer to make sure everything works and posts, and it does. It's running well. If you guys want to, I mean, with the case open, it's going to be a little louder, but I'll fire it up so you can see. You can hear the fans going. That's initial startup though. You'll see the screen lights up over here. It was so much louder with the case fans. And I have it on performance mode too, so The fans are a little louder on performance anyway. But I could have never put it on performance mode before. It was louder on standard than it was on performance. But it starts up, and once it's going, let me, right now it just cycles through coloring. I don't know why it keeps opening this. That's just how the desktop looks right now. I put some software on there, nothing too crazy. You PC guys want to see a 3D Mark score? Okay, I just have the demo right now, but I know some of you guys in here are PC guys. I haven't done it since I changed the RAM, and so the RAM is faster. I'll do it. Let's see what it gets. What's up, Chuck? So I only have the, I didn't want to pay for it yet. I only have the demo. Let's blow it up full screen. It's going to collect the info from the system, and then it's going to run an overall test. You guys will hear the fans get loud, but it's looking healthy from what I see so far. It looks like it should be a pretty decent beast. And I think it will be able to get everything done that I need to get done for it. Run a Cinebench test. All right, I'll do a Cinebench test. I got to download that. This is just Time Spy, but good starter test anyway. I haven't really downloaded too much stuff on it yet. It's loading up. Thanks, Tim. Oh, my Malwarebytes scam was running. Close. So here we go. So now that the graphics card is heating up a little, it's starting to kick the fans back on for the graphics card right here. A little bit. I mean, I got the case open, which is obviously the best case scenario anyway for this, but Chuck, the RAM is HyperX Predator DDR4 3600 megahertz, and there's 64 gigs of it. So there's 64 gigs of RAM in there. Cruising. It's not quite the computer I was saving for. My regular computer died. This one is like one step lower on the graphics card and CPU than I wanted, but it's pretty good. I'm gonna still build the other one, but I'll be able to get started back up on YouTube with regular videos with this one for sure. What graphics card? This is a 2080 Super factory overclocked from Zotac. So I'm waiting to see. I think the RAM should definitely have a bit of effect on the 3D Mark score here. Nah, no 90-degree connector, Bill. But luckily I didn't need it. All my other PCI Express cards actually fit. Because they were small, they were able to fit behind there. So I fit them in there, and then I just put the graphics card back in, and it worked. So here comes the graphics test coming up now, like a much harder graphics test. the company did say that they're making them. Apparently they don't make USB 3.1. So this is running in 4K right now at 64, 81 frames a second, 82. I don't know if you guys can see that down there. Showing you the frames, 76. $69. So it's running pretty good, and the graphics card's not even really breaking a sweat. If you look at the fans, it's just regular. At this point, it hasn't even really fired up. You can see the frame rates there. It's pretty good, all things considered. What's up, Keith? This test takes a long time, but so now graphics test 2. It's just gonna up the ante a little bit. Get this thing off of here. It's too crooked. What's up, Fish? Yeah, Cruising. This one, it's a boutique PC made from a company called Main Gear. They're not really like a big company, like, you know, it's not like Dell or any of that stuff. They actually use real motherboards. That didn't work out so well. My stuff fell down. Hang on. I lost my gimbal. And then I lost it again. Hang on. Hopefully I didn't break the gimbal. There's the gimbal. That's because I rested it on this stupid Tai Chi thing and it's slanted. I was trying to get a little bit of a space there. Let's see if it goes back in there. Not falling and I can't get up. So here goes the CPU test now. So you can sort of see like the fans in there. Hopefully they'll ramp up a little on the CPU test. My gimbal is not happy with me. Let me turn it off and turn it back on. Yeah, see, I don't like that noise, but it'll be inside the case anyway with the glass on. Pretty sure that's, yeah. Might have to swap those out for Noctua fans too if they get too noisy. All right, so test is done. That's weird. Let's see. Valid score, question mark? This score is fair and accurate measurement of system performance. You should only use valid results when comparing benchmark scores. Okay. So on here, it's got an 11,806 in regular time spy. Graphics score 11,673. CPU test 12,624. It's kind of weird that, so it is picking up that it's the 2080 Super and the Ryzen 3900X. Computer manufacturer, it's Main Gear. They make the case and they just basically put together a system. But if you look at it, it's an Asus X570 ASRock S570 Tai Chi motherboard. It's all standard pieces. None of it is like proprietary. So let me see what I can do here. So this score overall is better than 93% of all results that are on Time Spy, like regular Time Spy. That's pretty good. And it picks up pretty much all the RAM in there. Huh, that's interesting though, because, oh no, that's right. So it's 16 gigs total at basically 3,600 megahertz. I tried to do cost comparison. It was a little bit difficult because I'm gonna try to get Cinebench, see what I could do with that. But cost comparison is a little difficult overall because I couldn't find the price for everything. Like I bought the RAM myself. This RAM came with it, this Forza RAM, which is apparently some cheap uh, cheap company. It feels, I mean, it's got heat sinks at least, but it feels very lightweight. And it didn't give me any problems when I first got it. But then I bought the HyperX RAM. Like the HyperX RAM was like $600 for 64 gigs. But the whole PC, this whole PC as a whole was 2,500 with 32 gigs of RAM, the Ryzen 9 3900X, and the 2080 Super Zotac gaming edition, which is overclocked from Zotac. But it had some limitations, obviously. I mean, it came with the Cooler Master AIO, which is good. Came with really the only thing I could complain about with this case at all is the fans. The fans were super cheap, really noisy. This is a way better setup that I have in here now with the Noctua fans. But I mean, the gaming card itself I think is like around $850 for the graphics card. I can't really price the RAM that was in there because I can't find this anywhere. But I mean, it's hard to say. Like what I bought was $600 worth of RAM. So this is maybe 250, I guess, for 32 gigs of a bit slower RAM. The Cooler Master AIO is $140 by itself. The CPU is like $475, $480 by itself. The motherboard is a $300 motherboard. So you're looking at like 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 1575, let's just say 1700 with the cooler, and then the RAM 250, 1900. And then there's some extension cables on here, which probably run like $50, say 19. I would say it costs more. Oh, in the case, I know the case is 125. It's a little more. I probably paid $250 maybe to have. Oh, and there's a power supply in there. Maybe not even. Maybe it's a 750 watt power supply in there, and it's 80 rated, but I'm assuming it's 80 bronze rated because it just said 80 rated. Otherwise, if it was gold, they probably would have said gold. I didn't really take it out to look at it. But 750 watt 80 rated bronze supply is probably $85 to $100. I would say maybe it cost about $200 extra to have it already made, which isn't that bad, I guess, at the end of the day. But you got to remember too that, you know, I'm sure these guys are buying in bulk for whatever they're doing, even though they're not Dell or HP. They're still buying in bulk. I'm sure they bought a ton of these Zotac cards, a ton of the Cooler Master coolers, so they got them for a bit cheaper price. So their profit margin's a little better. But if you're at retail, I think it probably cost me about $200 to have this already assembled. Oh, and can't forget Windows too. Actually, it's a good deal. It really is a good deal, because this is Windows 10 Pro, which I know have to get legit because they're, you can get them for like $20 with the keys and stuff, but buying it legit is $150 or so to get Windows 10 Pro. So I think that they make their margin minimally because they buy the parts at a cheaper rate than we would buy them. So I think it's a pretty good deal, honestly. And I wanted a huge tower, like a full size tower. This is a mid tower, but they don't really sell pre-made huge towers. You got to do that yourself for the most part. So I'm happy with it. I think that eventually what's going to happen is that this machine is going to become my second machine, and all the things that I'm buying for it now, I would have had to buy for the big build anyway. Like the RAM, I would put in the big build. Although I might get different RAM for the big build, possibly. This is another thing that's a pain, right? So you look at this X570 Taichi motherboard. You go online, and you look up RAM that's compatible with it on their list that they've actually tested, because I didn't want any trouble. So I had to get this, but this was the only 64 gig kit that was also 3600 megahertz that they tested to work. Like all the G Skills RAM and stuff like that, they only had the G-Skills RAM, they only had like up to 32 gigs by using two 16 gig sticks and leaving the other two slots empty. But if I'm gonna be like using this as a jack of all trades computer, I need the RAM. Like I'll edit video 4K on it. I'm gonna do a lot of you know, gaming on it, do a lot of streaming on it, all on the same computer at the same time. It's got to be able to work well. So that's kind of the thought process with it. But I do have one other thing that's important, which came last night while the fights were on. And I got some more stuff showing up today. I got to get rid of all this crap in here, but right now it's difficult because, like, here's the box for the computer. I got to make sure it's working good before I throw it away, because if I have to return it, I mean, so far everything seems fine. But this came yesterday, and I'm gonna open this up real quick. This is something that a lot of people don't think about when they do PCs, whether you buy one or you build one, or whatever the case may be. It's unfortunately often an afterthought, and some people pay dearly for not thinking about it. Let me try to, it's kind of hard to do this one-handed while holding the phone. That's why I like the gimbal. I could just put it down, but I don't have the gimbal right now since it wanted to act up. All right. So, boxes and boxes. As you can see, Amazon does not care about putting boxes in boxes. So there you go. This, I have this 1500 version right here. So it's up to 1,000 watts. Basically, there's a huge battery in here, and you can plug everything into here. If you lose your power, stuff won't shut down. You won't mess up your stuff. And aside from that, it's got like some pretty cool, you know, display on the front. Now this, aside from, I don't lose power here, so I'm not too worried about that. Like in New York City, I've never lost power, honestly. Like aside from like, you know, a huge power outage that's like nationwide, or, you know, the East Corridor gets shut down or something. But the other thing that happens though is, like, I live in an old house with old electricity, old wiring, old everything. Now, my studio is in the basement, which is the newest of all the wiring, but still technically not, I wouldn't consider my house electricity to be like the best overall electric, right? So the other thing that this does is that battery backup. It has a constant reading on this one. So let's say your power supply is asking for, I don't know, 600 watts, right? And you're wiring in your house, and you know, I look at underneath there. I got so much stuff under there. All this stuff is running off of, you know, I got speakers. I got all this stuff under here running. All right, my lights up there, everything. And what you want to make sure of is that it's all getting the correct amount of power that it should be getting when you need it. Let me try to put this thing back on. And basically, this unit will read what's being asked of it, and if it's not getting it from the wall at the moment that it's asking for it, because it'll usually only ask for tons of power in quick bursts, the battery will supply the extra power, which is really cool. Like, it will actually give it the power it's requesting. So it keeps everything running optimally. That's really why I got it. You just avoid overstressing the CPU or you know, overstressing the the power supply. Let's see if I can get this in here and it'll work. I hope so. I hope I didn't. We're gonna find out right now if I broke my my gimbal or not. I might have. It's not doing anything now. Yeah. that sucks. It appears to not be working. The motor, it turns on, but the motor does not spin. So that's crappy. All right. Sorry about all the flipping. I may have wrecked my gimbal when it fell, which I've barely used at all yet. So I'm going to have to actually put this down somewhere for a second. Let's put it right here. And I'm going to flip it back to me, because that's the only way I can see now what it is that I am doing. Try this. Nope. This is very difficult. This is why I need my PC finished. All right, at least it's standing up now. Just gonna take this out real fast. Dang, that's heavy. Okay. So this one, I tell you, the weight on this thing is crazy. You guys still hear me okay? I'm a little far, I know. I keep thinking I have that other mic on, but I don't. Maybe it's a charge. All right, there we go. So that's the front of it. It's got a little plastic over the LCD right now. Nice, gives you a USB-C and a 3.1A port in the front, which is pretty cool. This is like pretty much the biggest one power-wise that I could find, at least on Amazon. But what's kind of cool about this is the back. So you have surge plus battery on this side and just surge protected on this side. So obviously you'd plug your like computer in right here, and you'd want to put at least one monitor here, so that way if your power did shut down, it's on the battery backup too. And it's not going to give you like forever, but you're going to have enough time if you just plug the essentials into this side to go, oh damn, my power's out, let me take care of whatever I have going on the computer and shut it down. So if you're in a place where you lose power a decent amount, these things are absolutely a must. And then it'll even, I think this is kind of overkill, like protecting your network itself, but you can plug your network in and out through here and it will give you protection through here, but it's kind of strange. I don't see I don't know how, I guess it's possible, but I've never seen somebody actually, well, I mean, somebody's modem has fried, but that's different. That's from the power supply. It's not from the Ethernet itself. So it's a little weird to me, but it's there. You got a serial port, printer port, if you want to plug a printer in there. So you could do a good amount here. I guess maybe it's to put this on the network. Is that what it does? It adds it to your network? And then that way you can run things. Maybe that's what that's for. I got to read the instructions on it, but then it would make sense. This would sort of add it into your network. But I don't like the idea of in and then out to something else. I'd plug it in so that it's on the network if it does that, if it has some kind of network interface. But that's basically all it is. And then the front just has the readout display for you. That's it. Very simple device. And they do give you a printer cable in the bag. This is from CyberPower. Got it on Amazon. Let me see what it says about this network switch, because that's kind of interesting to me. I'll put this right here for now so you guys can see me. I'm just going to read this network thing because I don't think it has any kind of networking interface. 13. Communication protection ports. Bidirectional communication ports provide surge protection to a 10, 100, or 1000 Ethernet connection. Interesting. He said, how cold is it? I actually have the window open because I get stuck in very interesting scenarios in here. The window's barely open. It's cold here today. It's like 30-something degrees. But if I close it, all this stuff in here makes so much heat, and like my lights and everything, that it gets hot really fast. So it's open, so it's a little cold in here. So that's probably why you see that. But It's not even open that much. Like I had it open more, and I literally closed it to that much. But that's enough. It's got a lot of airflow coming through there. If you could see that. But yeah, that's where I'm at now. The other good thing is my Samsung monitors came with cables, so I don't think I'll need these, which I bought at Micro Center. So I can return these, and I should get like 80 something bucks back on these. Which I don't know what I'm going to use it for, but I'll get 80 something bucks back. I wasn't sure if the Samsung monitor came with DisplayPort cables for each monitor. I knew they had HDMI, but I wasn't sure about the DisplayPorts, but they did, so I didn't need those. Because my old computer only had mini DisplayPort cables, and that was all they had. This really sucks that I think I broke my, whatchamacallit. What's up, Santos? Let me put this down right here. It should hold up for a second. I'm gonna go ahead and grab the Cinebench while we're here. That's funky. You guys can see the top of the keys. Oh, they have it in the Microsoft store? I didn't know that. Who was that? Roland asking me to get that? Did you know they have that in the Microsoft store? And it's free. Cinebench. I'm installing it now. He said yes, he knew that. Okay, because I did not know that it was in there. But I'm about to see now. Steam opened on its own, and I didn't ask Steam to open, which is interesting. Let me get rid of Steam. Exit Steam, because you don't want that running when you're doing it. All right, so let me flip this around so you can see Cinebench, right? It's telling you AMD Ryzen 9 12-core processor, 12 cores, 24 threads at 3.8 gigahertz, Windows 10 64-bit, and a 2080 Super card. And there's rankings in here for different things. It looks like Intel's dominating most of everything on there. And this simply is this simply a CPU test? Because all I see is CPU and run. So I'm gonna hit run. I don't see a graphics card test on there, but it's doing render pass 1 on this. Got to turn it on in advanced. Okay. Well, we'll just see the CPU performance for now. It's not looking too shabby. It's building pretty quick. This is where I'm sure the faster RAM helps out, because the RAM that came in here was only 3200 megahertz and I installed 3600 megahertz. So that's going to mostly help on the CPU test. So that's showing, that's interesting. It's showing me a score of 7,320. But I'm assuming that's a single threaded process, or no? No, it should be multi-threaded, right? So where can I get this other? I don't see any option here. File, advanced benchmark. Okay, hang on. So now I can do a single core. So I got CPU, single core, but run all selected tests. So the thing's gonna run the same test again. Oh, right here, ranking, I can see I can pull down CPU. It's going to run that one more time. All right. Well, that's still pretty good. The only thing up on here that's beating that are Intel Xenon processors. See that? At least for that. It's beating the Threadripper from the first gen Threadripper, 1950X. So that's pretty cool. And that's just using the CPU. It's not bad at all. I'm curious what it would have did if I had my 3950X. What's up, Harvey? So it's going to do a single core also after this. And then I think I can switch it to the... yeah, single core is going to take forever. Only using one core. I should cancel the single core. We'll be here for like 4 hours. Let me see. I think I can switch to GPU. No, that's weird. See, I don't know how to get to GPU on this because it's not really... You guys say on the Windows Store version you can get the GPU? Because if I go here, I just get MP ratio, CPU single, and CPU. Those are my only choices. And up here, let's see, preferences, custom number of render threads. No, that's right. And yeah, it's not letting me, it shows the GFX board there, but it's not giving me any way to swap to that. This single core is horrifically slow. I don't know if there's a way I can stop it. Don't think so. Let me go to the Cinebench website. Cinebench website. You know, it's only R20 is only giving me CPU stuff. That's what's free apparently. So if you went to here now, Cinema 4D overview. I need R15. I don't think R15 is in the store. Let's see. R15. There we go. I can download it. No, but now it's showing me R20. There's R15 for Windows All. Should I just get it from TechSpot? You would think that I like getting it from the company. Themselves if I can. And this is through Windows. Let me do a search and see if they have R15 in here. I don't think so, though. No. All right. So what I'm going to do, still building this, is I will download R15 from somewhere else. Yeah, so that's... should start automatically. Somebody was asking about my gimbal. hopefully I can get the gimbal to work again. But I have to use the phone to try to connect to it and get it to calibrate, and then I'll know. If not, it's just done, which would suck because I barely used it and it was like 300 bucks. All right, so here's R15. I can accept it. It just runs from there, huh? So let me close the other one. Let's close this. Let's close R20, which is still running. Do you want to stop it? Yes. Okay. So now the only thing open is R15. And here I get OpenGL and CPU. All right, so at least I can do that. So let's do an OpenGL test. See what happens. Just preparing. Gotta check advanced for extra options. All right, I'll check that out. It doesn't, well, I gotta wait for this to finish, but all I get is file and help. That's it. Well, just to give you an idea of what's in there, what it shows, it's 173.62 on OpenGL. I mean, it's pretty good. I can't complain about that, I guess. But like if I go to File, let's see, Advanced Benchmark. I don't want to run a single core at all. That's terrible. So let's do OpenGL and CPU, I guess. But it's not letting me change anything here, even by advanced. My preferences are, yeah. Let's do run all selected tests. I think it's going to run the same test again, but then it'll run the CPU test after, and it'll give you a combined score for both, I guess. I've been out of this loop for so long that I don't even know what the best testing software is anymore, because I've had this computer since 2015 and never bothered to test it. But what is this resolution running at? 1080? Because then you get bottlenecked by the CPU anyway. Because if it's rendering this in 1080 on the it has to be 1080 because my graphics card's not even spinning. Firestrike. Do they have a free Firestrike version, Bill? No. So, I mean, that's pretty much it. It is giving me 164.56 frames per second that time. CPU gets 3,204 CB. So it's not bad at all. But do I want to save my benchmark score? No, I don't care. Let's go to, let me see if, I know they don't have a free Firestrike, but how much is it? They have an Android edition for Fire Strike? Oh, it's from 3D Mark also. Okay, so yeah. Here's Fire Strike. But how do I get it? It shows software, but then there's no... I gotta click more. Is it just part of 3D Mark? Is that why? Let me see when I open 3D Mark, right? Because I have the demo version. Benchmarks. So you get Time Spy Extreme, which, see, Advanced Edition only. Yeah, there's Fire Strike Ultra. All right. So upgrade to 3D Mark Advanced Edition. Look what they're going to do to me here. Buy it. Let's see. How much do they want from my life to test the computer? 30 bucks. Or I could get $60 for VR Mark, PC Mark 10, and 3D Mark. Buy this bundle to save. If you get Firestorm app and manually set your fan curves. Oh, okay. Yeah, it is a Zotac. I think, yeah, Zotac has like a... I saw that, but it's not installed on the computer. I have to get it. So... let's see. Anyone think it's worth it to get PC Mark 10, 3D Mark, and VR Mark for $60? Or should I just buy 3D Mark for $30? I don't know. I don't really plan to do much in VR, but I might check out some VR. But I don't think I need to benchmark it. Nah, I don't really do VR. I may, though. I may mess with the Oculus at some point, but... well, let's see. How much is VR Mark by itself? Oh, they say agreed. I stay with free Cinebench. But it's not letting me test it, right? Like, fully, anyway. Which kind of bothers me. But I think regular 3D Mark is enough. Like, PC Mark 10. How much is this by itself? Let's see. It's $30 by itself for PC Mark. PC Mark seems, you know what? I think I'd probably get them all. Just because PC Mark is $30, and I could definitely use that as a testing benchmark. And I'm sure I can install it on any other system I want too when I build my other system. And 3D Mark is also $30 by itself. They're giving you the VR Mark for free then if you pay $60. So I think I'll just do that. You'll have a chance to review your order. Yeah, thank you. And you know what? I'm making a video on it. Chuck said credit card didn't buy it. I'm making a video on it, which means at least I can write it off on taxes. Oh, whoops. Yeah. It's the cost of one video game, and I can use it forever. So that's cool. I'm with it. Continue. Agree and pay. Purchase. I used my credit card through PayPal to buy it. The reason I do that is because I get 1% back on credit card purchase. So that's kind of cool. So now let's go into here. I'm trying to find my... That's interesting. I have Crisis. I should install Crisis and go, but can it run Crisis? Is that still a thing? It's been so long that I don't know. This is weird. Software. So 3D Mark. Install. Install. That's the big one anyway. I agree. Sadly, yes. I loved Crisis back in the day, though. Yes. Finish. Okay, so I should be able to launch 3D Mark now. Let's see. Launch 3D Mark 464-bit. Yes. And it is now installing. First time setup. Not installed. Why? Oh, time spy. Install. See, this is weird. Like, now I have tons of options, right? But it's not, a ton of stuff is not installed in here. Like, it's pretty dumb. Your system, your processor, your graphics, benchmark. So, Time Spy Extreme is installed. Time Spy is installed. Here's Port Royal for real-time ray tracing. I have to click each one and install it by itself. Here's Firestrike Ultra. I have to install. I thought it was going to be doing that once I bought it, but apparently not. Firestrike. Okay. Now I think they're all installed. Oh, that's for integrated graphics. I don't really need that. And then there's compare API performance on your PC, PCI Express bandwidth test, VRS feature set, and NVIDIA DLSS feature set. And that's installing that as we speak. If I paid for it, install it. Install. And install. Okay, everything is now installing. We can run a better test in a minute. But that's just 3D Mark. I didn't even open up like PC Mark or any of that stuff, at least as of yet. Well, let me turn on a few more lights in here. The overhead lights. What's up, Yo-Yo? The overhead lights help out a lot. I got one more thing to show you guys too, which is upstairs currently. Let me click those lights on because it helps a little bit. What's up, Yo-Yo? Wow, the NVIDIA DLSS feature set is taking a really long time to install. Modify. So now I can change my graphics. Let's see, 1440p ray tracing feature sets. Very nice. So I can put filters in here. I like this. This is nicer. No results yet. And benchmarks. All right, guys. So Port Royal is the one taking forever to install the real-time ray tracing benchmark. That apparently goes along with the NVIDIA DLSS feature set because they're both at 86%. I'm guessing, well, whatever. Let's do, let's try Firestrike Ultra. Yeah. Good Lord. They got a Hall of Fame top 5 in here. Firestrike Ultra. There's Kingpin. That's I want the Kingpin graphics card, the 2080 Ti in my main computer. So I don't expect to be on this list with this machine, but it should do pretty good. Let's see, custom run. So that's pretty cool. You can change all kinds of stuff in here. I'm gonna leave it on standard for now. Let's run it. I don't know if running it while it's installing other apps will really make a difference, but we ain't got all day. So let's just run it. I'll run it again after the apps are uninstalled later. See if it changes anything. So here's Firestrike Ultra. That should definitely get the graphics card spinning because that's going to be rendering 4K. Look, it still says Firestrike Demo. Why? Roland has a 2080 Ti. I found it. Yeah, the 2080 Ti that's what I want to get in when I build the big PC. But this 2080 Super is pretty good. Like for the price point, I think they're like $800. And they give you really good performance for that price. That Kingpin, yeah, see, look, automatically starts moving the fans. What am I doing? I'm stress testing the PC to try to make sure it doesn't have issues. Because I only have 15 days to return it to Micro Center if it does, just like I had to return that laptop that I was trying to use. Although I don't think I'm going to run into much in the way of issues on this system. So far, everything I've done seems good. I got to plug a webcam into it and do a live show, make sure it doesn't tear my webcam. But they didn't overclock anything, but the Zotac card that's in there, the 2080 Super, is overclocked from Zotac already, like out of the box. Thought you were making fire sticks. These fans make a funky noise. I don't know if you guys can hear it. Oh, now it stopped. It was like little crank, 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 and now it's staying steady. So this will be interesting to see what it does. I mean, it looks very smooth on my end. I don't know how well it's translating through the phone here, but so without paying, you can't even run this test at all? Like even like a single version of it or something? It'll be very cool to see the difference between like the 3950X along with the 2080 Ti when I build that system compared to this one. I think I'll probably use this system once I have both as no, it's just something that they load for the test, Yo-Yo. Like that's some graphics they have in there. So here goes. This says graphics test 1. So the first one wasn't a graphics test? What was that, just analyzing the system? I haven't run these in so long or anything like this, so my FPS does not look that great, but it looks very smooth on the screen. My FPS is around 40. If you look there, it keeps jumping up and down into the 30s and 40s. That better be 4K. Otherwise, I'm gonna be highly upset. Graphics test 2. But it looked smooth as hell on the screen, though. All right, now this one does not look as smooth, but I'm guessing it's not supposed to. It still looks pretty smooth. No, now it looks very smooth. We're back up into the 30s, close to 40s. It's weird. Now dropping in the 20s, 19, 18 as this goes. But it doesn't look like any game I've ever played that had this low of a frame rate would look super off, you know? You'd see all kinds of like jaggedness, and this looks smooth as hell still. I'm confused. So here's a physics test from Firestrike now. And that's running at high 80s in the FPS. Looks crazy smooth. Into the 90s. I hit 91, 92, and back down to the 80s. And this one is a combined test. So maybe that's what matters. I don't know. It's just weird. But the graphics card is pretty quiet, and the fans aren't spinning that crazy. Granted, the side of the case is open, but... And it's nice and cold in here from my window being open. Ragud. Yeah, the Kodi install is the same on both. So it gave me 6,946 as an overall score. I don't even know if that's good. Graphics score 6,686. Physics score 28,179. Combined score. And combined score 3,780. That doesn't sound too good. Let's do a compare result online. Let's see what it says. Better than 74% of all results. I guess that's not so bad. Well, Aaron, the download won't be supported on the old one if he has the new OS anyway, so it would be the same. That is, I don't know, somebody that's done this more recently. Do it. No, I only have one monitor hooked up, Russell. It's a 1440p, 140 hertz monitor, 144 hertz monitor. Nope, I didn't mean to do that. Let me go back here. I can change this in the home, no, in the benchmark setting. So like in here, should I do DirectX 11? I understand that's better, right? 2160p. And now it's giving me Firestrike. Okay, so it gets rid of your benchmarks that don't fit. DirectX 12. It's still installing too. I wonder if that's playing a role in anything also. But I'm curious for like the 4K. I can do a PCI Express test. Which one does that? Oh, it's still not installed. PCI Express feature set. 2160p. Well, let's just open this up and then I can go to include demo. No, I don't want the demo. Let's do a custom run. 2160p. Anti-aliasing mode. So you can literally set this up like if it was game settings. See, I am not too familiar with that, but I am apparently very far off from these numbers, that's for sure. But these guys, this is like with liquid nitrogen overclocking. I can't even mess with that, but well, the CPU is test running 32 parallel physics simulations. So, oh, I see. So these are your different tests, right? Yeah, I mean, I was just very, honestly, very, let's try. There's 4K, and then, so 2560 by 1440. All right, let's try 1440. Is that gonna run it at 1440 just by doing that? Going back and then saying run? Oh, run custom, I gotta do it up there. So let's see what it does at 1440. I mean, I'd like to be able to game in 4K, but I need the other machine for gaming and streaming in 4K at the same time, I think. But what I can do is run consoles through there that can run 4K and get it going. But let me chat with you guys while that runs. We don't need to stare at that again all day. Yeah, I'm gonna try to mess with the fan curve too. Score will be better than upscaling to 4K, yeah. Yeah, I'm getting already 75, 85 frames per second at 1440p, 88, 91. We'll see what it does at the end. But it should be better for sure. So I gotta ask you guys a question real quick. Anyone that watched the fight last night? I actually fell asleep before the main event. I watched the fight right before the main, and I fell asleep before the main. But I watched the main event this morning. I found a HD version on YouTube, and I saw all the hoopla. Everybody saying that, Reyes was robbed and all this stuff, right? And I didn't see it that way, in all honesty. Reyes had a great first round, to me. Clearly won the first round. Second round, very close round. Let's just say give it to Reyes, right? The third round, he was a totally different fighter. Gassed, really out of energy. Jones was the one coming forward the whole time. Reyes was staying away. Close round, though. But I'd give it to Jones. And then fourth round, Jones beat him up. And the fifth round, to me, is where he lost the fight. I had it tied going into 5. And in the fifth round, he did nothing. He just ran away the whole time. And even near the end of the fight, with under a minute left, Jones is standing in the center of the octagon telling him, like, come on, let's fight. You got to remember, you're fighting the champ for the belt, man. Like, you cannot not fight in the championship rounds. Yeah, I mean, you got busted up in round 4. Jones totally busted him up in the 4th. But in the 5th round, he didn't want to fight. And you can't do that when you're trying to win a belt, especially against somebody like John Jones. I thought the one judge that gave it 4-1 Jones was a little over the top, but I scored it 3-2 Jones. But I saw like all this huge hoopla today about like so many people thought that Reyes was robbed, and I'm like, I don't see a robbery here. Like, to be robbed, you got to clearly win a fight, and then the judges all scored against you. Like, I didn't see that. People talk about it in the realm of boxing, I think, a lot, but it's the same thing in MMA. You want a title, you got to take that title. And I just didn't see a man that was out there to take a title. He was out there in the beginning, sure, in round 1, he wanted to take a title. And even in round 2, he wanted to take a title. But by the time round 5 came around, he didn't have anything in the tank. Yeah, I agree too, Roland. That's what I mean. I didn't think it was 4-1 Jones. I had a 3-2 Jones. But to me, the clear I don't know, I look at every fight objectively, like whether I'm a fan of somebody or not. And to me, you have clear rounds and you have close rounds. The only clear rounds in that fight, totally clear rounds, were 1, 4, and 5. So 1 was clearly Reyes. He won that round hands down. 4 was clearly Jones. He won it hands down. Anybody that could score it the other way just didn't know what they were watching. And 5 was clearly Jones hands down because Reyes didn't want to do anything. He looked like Mayweather on a bicycle, So those are your clear rounds. So Jones has 2 clear, Reyes has 1 clear, and now you have 2 close rounds. So when you break that down as an opportunity for judges on a scorecard, because we may not always agree with the judges, but you got to think about it. They have 2 rounds open to interpretation. So no matter how they score it, there's only 3 possible outcomes. You can give 2 rounds to Jones, 2 rounds to Reyes, or split them 1-1, right? If the judges are correct and see the clear rounds, Jones would be up 2-1, which means if you give 2 rounds to Reyes out of those questionable rounds 2 and 3, the best Reyes can do is win 3-2. If you give him 1-1, Jones wins 3-2. If you give him both to Jones, Jones wins 4-1. So your outcome ability is Jones has the higher probability to win the decision that way. That's just using mathematics based off of what we know is clear versus what we know isn't. And then you got to take into account that he is the champion. So any close rounds, as far back as history goes in fighting, usually go to the champion. So while I don't agree with the 4-1 score at all, maybe that guy's a real old timer and just went close round for the champion, close round for the champion, and that's how he got to that score. I don't know, but I just saw it 3-2. But if somebody gave it 3-2, is your no? It is getting bigger. I haven't cut it yet. I gotta go to the barbershop. Even if somebody gave it 3-2 Reyes, I wouldn't say Jones was robbed. Like, the hoopla online becomes like he was robbed. How is anybody robbed in a close fight? It's a close fight. You can't be robbed in a close fight. If you beat somebody down the whole fight and the score didn't go your way, then you got robbed. But when you only have one round definitively in your favor and 2 rounds definitively in the champion's favor and 2 rounds up for grabs, like, depending on how somebody views fighting, can go either way. There's no way anybody gets robbed. If it was 3-2 Reyes, Jones wouldn't have been robbed either. But that's just how I see it. But all right, this one finished. So at 1440p, I get a 17976 graphics, 29,651 physics, and a total score of 8,845. I don't know if that's good or bad, but if we compare the result online, it says, oh, I guess I can't compare the result because non-default settings were used. So to do 1440p is automatically a non-default setting? That is strange. Let's go back to these benchmarks and see if they installed. Clear my filters. It's still at 86%. I think it's stuck or something. How long does it take to install that? I wonder if that is causing my problem. You can try 4K gaming with DirectX 12 and TimeSpy Extreme. Let's run that one. I'm curious. Just to see what it gets. But yeah, I don't know. What did you guys think? I thought, yeah, I agree with Russell. Like, Serena's asking about my Stadia experience. Stadia, I like Stadia. I think it's fine to not renew Serena for now, but I would keep it, obviously. See where it's going. Because he can play for free pretty soon anyway at 1080p. He'll be able to play for free at 1080p, so you don't have to pay, and he can still play. So it's definitely worth it for that. But I don't really have much problem with it. But I think part of the problem with Stadia, at least initially, is that it's very internet dependent. So if you're gonna play on something on Stadia, like if you have the Chromecast and you got that plugged in, if there's a way for you to plug that in with your Ethernet cable into the Chromecast, into that Chromecast Ultra that comes with it, then that would be a good idea. Other than that, though, I mean, I just don't think they have enough games yet, but I don't really have a problem playing it. I'm gonna play some, like, once I get this computer set up, I'll play Stadia on here and run through it. But I don't have a problem with it. I think it's fine for me. I don't really experience much lag at all, if any. I played a good amount of Destiny on there, the Tom Clancy game, and the Metro game that's on there. I think it's Exodus is the one they have on there, Metro Exodus. Works fine. Do I notice a difference between an actual console and Stadia right now? Yes, but very, very minimal. And considering it just came out, I can't really say that that's a bad thing. It's super minimal. Like, if I didn't play a game on the console, like on the Xbox One X, and then immediately switch to Stadia or have them fired up side by side somehow, I wouldn't notice that difference. But I'm waiting for them to have some games that I play regularly online to see the difference in that. But I did a bit of online Destiny and it played fine. I didn't have a problem with it. Other than that, though, it's good. It needs more games to me. I still haven't gotten into like party chats or anything, but I honestly haven't tried. But it wasn't working for me in the beginning, the party chat aspect of it. But I definitely would say keep it there for him as a free option because you already have it. And when a game comes out that he really likes, at a certain point, maybe let him try it on Stadia and see if it's better. He'll be able to play, I'm sure, whatever he has and see if that gets better too. But I don't really have an issue with Stadia. I find it to be okay. Russell said the judges were sometimes sketchy. Now here's one other thing, right? There was another thing about the fights too last night. The Derek Lewis fight versus Latifi. I think a lot of people thought that Latifi won that fight in general because of ground control and things like that, and he held him down a lot. And I can't say they're necessarily wrong based on what you know as probable scoring, but I can say I'm glad he didn't win the fight. And I think scoring needs to change because to me, one of the biggest problems in MMA scoring. Yeah, I'm streaming live from my phone, Yo-Yo. One of the biggest problems in MMA scoring is the amount of emphasis placed on the takedown by itself. I don't think that's right. I don't like if I take you down and you get right back up. Um, what did my takedown really achieve? Uh, or if I take you down and I don't do anything with it, like what Latifi was doing to Derek Lewis over and over again. He took him down. Like I felt like Latifi was taking Derek Lewis down. Um, oh, that's good, Yo-Yo. Yeah, that's one thing I give the iPhone. The iPhone's video is great. That's why I use it for. If I have to live stream mobile, it's gonna be with an iPhone. I basically have an iPhone to live stream mobile with. That's crazy. But um, if Latifi takes him down and just lays on him, should you really get a lot of points for that in MMA? If you just lay there and don't do anything? He wasn't ground and pounding. He never tried to advance his position. He just laid there. He threw a couple of tiny shots in the side of him, not even really hard ones, just to try to make sure the ref didn't stand him back up. And it's just because um, you know, it's like he didn't want to fight on his feet, clearly. So I think you have to look at the overall aspect of what a fighter's doing. Like I think, see, I get your point too, Roland. Like I think a takedown scores no matter what, but it shouldn't, like the takedown by itself. Let's say if I punch you in the face cleanly 25 times in a round and you don't hit me and you only hit me 10, right? Let's say you hit me 10 times clean in the round. And those are the strikes. But you take me down once, should you win the round if you just took me down and didn't do anything with it? Where's the weight on how much that's what I mean. MMA is such a broad field of fighting that I don't think one takedown, a lot of times you'll even hear the announcers at the end of the round, oh, that takedown might have won them the round. Not if they were getting their ass whooped the whole round. Like, it works if it's a close round. Fine. Close round, take somebody down, cool. It's a part of MMA, so it's got to score. But, oh, this is firing up my system pretty loud now. I'm letting it run the Time Spy Extreme benchmark. But, yeah, like, a lot of people were like, oh, Latifi should have won. He had ground control for so long. Harvey, yes, you should be able to do that, Harvey. As long as that SIM card already has unlimited data, it should work because I'm assuming that H2O SIM card goes through AT&T, and that router works with AT&T, so it should be fine. It's just about weighting it. I as far as that goes, though, I really feel like they need to come up with a more concise system for the weight of it, because otherwise it leaves these judges up to like a crazy interpretation of whatever they just view, and everyone could see it differently. Maybe like a takedown that comes right back up counts as half of what a normal takedown would count as, and a takedown where the guy does nothing also counts for half of what a normal takedown does, or something of that degree. Like it'll count, but not, to me, the purpose of a takedown, is going to be purpose of a takedown should always be. Yeah, I agree with that too, Russell. Every state has different rules to some extent, and that's messed up too. I also think that every the commission shouldn't be the same. Like it can be the same, but you should have dedicated MMA judges and not judges that do boxing and MMA. Because I think that a lot of these judges have been doing boxing for so long and they're not quite as well versed on MMA that it kind of messes things up. This Time Spy finished. This Time Spy Extreme. Let's see what it shows up at. So I got a 5,506 overall. We'll do a compare result online. And it says, so a 4K gaming PC average 3,000. I guess I'm doing pretty good. I don't know. Like I said, I haven't run this stuff in forever, but that took into effect some with the graphics card and with the PC combined. So see, so the core clock on this Zotac for the memory is 8,000. Memory bus clock was 1938. And my maximum turbo clock is 4.4 gigahertz. Core clock's 3.8. So that's all standard. I didn't change that any. And I do need a BIOS update for the motherboard too, because it's not recognizing this exactly right. It has a preset curve for this, but it's under a higher BIOS. So I'm going to also update the BIOS and then load in the direct one for this RAM and see if that changes anything too. So I guess it did okay, not bad. But yeah, it was a little bit bothersome. The other one that I didn't like was I didn't really care for the Lauren Murphy Andrea Lee decision either, although that one was pretty close. So I just, thought that Lee outstruck her pretty well at certain points, and I gotta watch that one again. It was very close. Could have went either way, but I think that she got a lot more credit with those takedowns. Whereas to me, initially watching the fight, at least, I like to watch fights at least twice before I really come to a conclusion. But I thought I only watched that one once. But I thought that Andrea Lee did enough on her feet to make up for the difference for the couple takedowns that Murphy had, because Murphy didn't really do much with the takedowns either. I just feel like takedowns in MMA are taken weighted way too heavily by themselves. In MMA, to me, if you're taking someone down, there's a purpose for it. You're trying to get a submission. You're trying to take them down to advance because you feel you have a stronger, skill set on the ground than your opponent. So that's why you shoot. That's why Khabib takes you down, because he's trying to ground and pound you, or, different people take you down. If don't like your CP, you can send it to me. No, I gotta like it. It's the only one I got. I just don't know what if that what I'm saying is, as far as the computer, I don't know if that's good for my components or not. I can see that it's better than a lot of other machines, clearly, but I don't know if it's, considering the components that I have, if it's running as good as it could or should. I wish that I could find like somebody else online with the same setup and see. But I'll update everything, and whatever it is. But I was definitely curious as far as that goes anyway. But I'll let all those things install or whatever, and I'll try that again after. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like they definitely need, the part of the problem is judges, because there were definitely a couple of silly judges' decisions. And part of the problem was just how something's judged. A few people were quit. Yeah, I got to add some stuff to the Supreme Store. That is very true, Yo-Yo. Thundercloud said Reyes should get a rematch. I agree with that. He did well enough to get a rematch. I think, he deserves one. But he'll have to take at least one or two fights and win. My biggest problem when I watched that fight, though, the Jones-Reyes fight, I rewatched it like, I think 3 times this morning. And Reyes in rounds 1 and 2 was a killer. He was out there trying to take that belt, trying to finish Jones, trying to do whatever he had to do to do so. And Reyes in rounds 3, 4, and 5 was a tired fighter in those 3 rounds, and more tired every round, clearly. And that doesn't win you a belt when you standing there against John Jones, who's the same over and over and over every round. So like, as a person watching the fight, whether you're a judge or you're anybody else, the biggest difference I saw between the two fighters was consistency. Jones was consistently the same guy from rounds 1 through 5, and he had a high enough output to be that guy, like where he was trying to win a fight. And I think when you look at the overall numbers on the fight, people go, oh, look at the CompuBox numbers or whatever, right? Final punch stats. And it's like, Reyes landed 8 more punches over 5 rounds than Jones did, right? When did he land those? I bet you he got those 8 punches in rounds 1 and 2, not in 3, 4, and 5. You know what I mean? Like, he was clearly more active in those rounds and did better in those rounds. Although I thought Jones did enough where you could have said, maybe I could give the second round to Jones, or I could see a ref saying, a judge deciding Jones could have won the second. So to me, that's the difference. You can't just look at an overall picture of a fight and be like, oh, Reyes should have won. Well, and that comes back to the takedowns too. Jones's takedowns were pointless. They didn't do anything in the fight. They just were a takedown to be a takedown because he knows it scores points. So over the course of 5 rounds, Reyes lands 8 more shots, but Jones has 2 takedowns and Reyes has none. Let's just say every round was even, but Jones had the 2 takedowns. Should those 2 takedowns win him a fight? I guess. But that would assume that everything was even every round. You know what I mean? But not only did Reyes do better in rounds 1 and 2, Reyes was the fresh, active, hard hitting. He wasn't running around on his bicycle the whole time. He was just moving enough to, his movement was for the purpose of countering, and effective countering and effective aggression in return. In rounds 3, 4, and 5, his movement was, I don't want to get beat up, I don't want to get hit, I'm tired. That's what it looked like to anybody watching that fight. If you just look at his face, look at his posture, look at his body language, he's breathing super heavy, which is fine. You could breathe heavy. Conor does it too sometimes. You know when Conor ducks away from Nate's punches back and then he just does this little run around? He's tired. That's not a good look. Like, you're showing everyone how tired you are and how much you don't want to fight right then. That's not what you want to be doing. So I think that's pretty much my biggest takeaway from that fight as an observer of that fight. It's weird. I'm stuck with this 3D mark is starting, but it's not actually starting because I shut it down and then I accidentally clicked to get it back up, but it's not in my processes at all. And it won't let me get rid of it. I might have to restart the computer. I'll just restart it. So, I don't know. That was my take on the fight, because I just saw so much hoopla online that Steam is preventing you from restarting. Restart anyway. I just saw so much hoopla online about that, and so many people were so aggravated that basically trying to say that Reyes was robbed. So I had to go watch it just to because I fell asleep. I went, oh man, did he really get robbed? That would be terrible. And then I watched it, and I'm watching. I'm like, all right, round one Reyes, round two close. All right, Reyes. Round three pretty close, but I give that Jones. Round four clearly Jones. Round five clearly Jones. And you gotta say he's the champion. So no matter which way you slice it, you gotta take that belt. That's just how I see it. But I don't know. That's that, guys. I'm Donnie says that all the judges are state sanctioned. Donnie, they're all sanctioned by the states. I think that the states should keep their state sanctioned judges, but they should have MMA sanctioned judges. They shouldn't be having judges that do boxing and do MMA because they're two different sports and two very different scoring criteria. So, that's how I see it anyway. I think it should stay state, but or not necessarily only state. Like I think it's kind of crappy that each state has their own rules for judging too, because then you have to adjust a fight plan for every state you fight in. Like it's kind of stupid. I think there should be universally recognized rules for boxing and universally recognized scoring rules for MMA. Like, but a lot of these judges that judge MMA have been judging boxing since like the 70s and 80s and 90s, and they're not that well versed or experienced in MMA, you know? And I think that those same commissions, however, they have the commission sanctions set up for each state. If it has to go by state, fine. I think that they should all have a universally recognized rule set because sometimes they say the old rules are in effect here and the new rules are in effect here. No, just give people a rule set and that's it. Like not old rules, new rules, these rules. So not only do the fighters have to fight differently based on rules, judges can judge differently based on rules, based on judging standards, state to state. It's kind of silly. Even like things that have to do with the doctor and the doctor's prevalence in a state to state thing. Like doctor can stop a fight in one state. One state has a standing 8 count, one state doesn't. All that kind of stuff is like I can understand that every country has an ability to possibly change rules based because of a violence-based sport, possibly, but every state is a little over the top for these guys. Like, can I knee this guy when one hand is down? Can I not knee this guy when one hand is down? What if I fought my last 5 fights kneeing a guy when, one hand is down, and that was okay, and then all of a sudden I can't? And then I get disqualified because I did it once and it knocked him out. Like whatever the case may be. And it just needs to be more unified for everyone's sake. I think. I also think that it really really has to go to a area of uniformity for everything from fight to judging to what doctors can do, can't do. Can a doctor just give a referee a recommendation to stop a fight, or is the doctor himself allowed to stop a fight? Everywhere that should be the same. Like when it comes to stopping a fight, I think the doctor should have the call personally. Like he's the doctor, not the referee. But the doctor needs to be well versed in fight, and this cut over an eye. How bad is it as far as just getting through this fight? They should. There's a lot of stuff that should be kind of more universal, but I definitely feel like MMA is starting to have a problem, and it's not the same problem as boxing, because boxing's problem is corruption and the business side of it, really. Which that's what creates all the fighters not fighting each other. The best don't fight the best. All that kind of hoopla is all corruption and money. The business side of boxing ruins it. With MMA, it's judging. We're seeing more and more lately. Also, refereeing not being, it's hard to blame a ref. Their job is to protect the fighter, but sometimes everyone's like, oh, fight stopped too early. Well, okay, you got to accept it. It is what it is. But I feel like maybe it's kind of hard for you to give someone, the benefit of the doubt like I seen Herb Dean allow somebody, who was it? I can't remember who it was. Herb Dean allowed somebody to go getting beat up way longer than he would allow somebody else to go. And it's because he knows that fighter and that fighter has come back from these kind of situations and whatever, like, is that really right though? Like, if you're willing to stop it at a certain point of a beating for one guy and let it go, like, it's just because that guy can come back, does it mean that it's any less traumatic to his brain? If you're going to stop it the same for everybody. Don't say, well, this one guy is able to take a brain beating better than this other guy, so I'm going to let him get his brain beaten a little more. Like, that's not cool. Either let them get their brain beaten or don't, but make it fair for everyone. You know what I mean? So that's kind of there's little things like that. MMA to me is the best combat sport there is now. Boxing is just kind of lame to me at this point. And it's not because of the sport of boxing, it's because of the business of boxing and just not seeing the best fighting the best and all that corruption that goes on in boxing. But MMA can still be better, and they need to make it so, because otherwise you leave those kind of things open forever, and they just become bigger problems. I think they need to rectify any problems that they find now as quickly as they can, because the sport is still relatively young and growing, but it's becoming so much more mainstream, and so many more people are switching over to watching that from boxing year after year, that and even fighters, when you see young kids today, how many young kids are out there that you hear about huge boxing prospects versus amount of MMA prospects? These young kids I see, even like, I'm in New York City, there's boxing gyms, we got a bunch of them here. We got a bunch of MMA gyms here, and just driving around the city, look through the window of all these gyms, the MMA gyms are way more full. These young kids are training MMA, they want to be MMA fighters, or they want to, whatever the case may be. Some of them do, obviously. Some of them may just want to protect themselves, whatever. But those MMA gyms are way more packed than boxing gyms these days. So if that trend is going to continue and it's going to go along that route and keep going that way, I think MMA just needs to become a little more unified, a little more cleaner across all their rule sets, across the way they judge. And I think most importantly, though, the first biggest step is that they need MMA judges. They need guys. They can be from the same commission as the boxing commission. It's the athletic state commission for every state, right? But get a guy that knows MMA to become a judge. Get a guy to get certified through some sort of MMA course, the same way they do for boxing, and make them a judge. I think that's the only fair way to do it. And don't have some guy who's been, who's a boxing diehard and has been a boxing judge since 1972, just thrown into an MMA judging. Like, it's not really cool. Like, I think that's part of what's messed up about it. So that's the first and foremost thing. And then maybe make sure you at least have a unified rule set. How long has it been already? They changed the rules, I think, in 2019 for MMA. And some states and some countries and some whatever refused to accept the new rules and stay to the old rules. But, like, if the rules change, they change. And I think that just needs to be accepted, as a whole. There's a lot of studies out there, too. Everyone, for a long time, even in my state, I'm in New York, and we couldn't watch MMA live here forever. It was going on for years and years and years. In other places, it was illegal here. And there was a couple other states that left it illegal as well. And they're like, oh, the violence of it and whatever. But at the end of the day, MMA's actually been around for 25 years, I think, already. It's like in its 25th year or 26th year right now. 25, I think. And that's long enough to have a lot of studies. And the majority of those studies that I've seen, and I looked at this pretty hard and researched this pretty hard, say that like later on in life, having problems with things, so far from what you can see, it's worse to get beat in the head repeatedly over and over and over again with a big boxing glove, because it actually jars your brain, and it takes so many more hits for you to usually get knocked out, unless you're fighting Mike Tyson. Most of the time you're going to be getting hit so many more times in the head with an object that weighs more, right, than a fist. When you have this big 12-ounce boxing glove or 10-ounce boxing glove repeatedly hitting you, that's worse long term for your brain to get hit repeatedly like that than to take one, two, or three shots that are real hard on the chin and go to sleep and wake up. And from everything I've seen, there hasn't been a study that says that that's incorrect. There have been enough of them that say that that is correct, and that it's better to just get knocked out from less shots and come back from that long term for your brain. That it's just a quick traumatic event rather than a constant pounding over and over and over again. Of course, there's some guys in MMA that are going to get that pounding over and over and over again because they just won't go down, or or have really good chins. So, but I think that's the same for boxing. But the majority of cases in MMA, a really strong guy catches you with one, two, three clean shots, it's over for you. You're going to sleep. You know. Yeah, Aaron, exactly. These are kind of like football too. All those bumps add up. You got those helmets on, but you're getting hit over and over and over and over again in them, and it's much more jarring. A larger object like that, that's heavier. That, like, when you get hit with a boxing glove, the fist is already pretty big on the side of your head, but that boxing glove will take up the whole side of your head, and bang, just jar your whole brain around. What's the question, BM? You're asking me to take it. Hey, question mark. I don't see your question, buddy. Where do I live? In New York. Yo-Yo's like, forget this guy. If you haven't watched, yeah, I don't think I've actually watched that movie. He said that's a troll. I'm gonna check your favorite just. Oh, the M1 thing. Yeah, all right. So this is what happened with this thing, right? This Nighthawk M1. So wireless buy is, I don't know if they can still sell them. I guess if they get them back in, I can't really do anything about it if they're sold out. But apparently, in some places, the T-Mobile service is no longer available. Like, I think Rob had gotten his cut off in Florida because they switched all their 4G. They didn't have enough towers, apparently. So instead of keeping 4G, they like flipped on 5G and somehow like wiped 4G off in like certain. It was weird. I don't understand the whole thing. But I still have the plan and it's not a problem here in New York. But some people, their plans were like basically, just cut off. So I don't know about that. I really don't quite get how that works, but like mine is fine here, and the other people I know that got it here, the T-Mobile plan is fine. But if you can get this unlocked Nighthawk still, you can run it with AT&T. If you bought it already and for some reason you're in an area where the T-Mobile service is no longer able to be given, you can run AT&T on it at least, so it's not a paperweight for you. I don't know why. It has clearly something to do with T-Mobile, with the way they integrated their 5G upgrades in certain areas. It was creating some issue where that plan was not working anymore. I guess maybe they just shut off anything full data for it. But I'm still loving it, man. I drive around in my car every day with my Android. I have my radio is like an Android headset in the car. So I use the Wi-Fi on it. It's basically like an Android tablet, but it's got a bunch of radio functions, and it connects via Wi-Fi to that hotspot, and I stream, everything. The other thing I noticed though with the T-Mobile, with this Netgear, right? If you have the M1, like when I try to stream Easy TV, doesn't work through the M1. It's weird. It works on my phone, but I have a 5G T-Mobile phone, and that works fine. But the 4G LTE T-Mobile through the Netgear doesn't work. But it was like, it's weird. It'll let me get in, but it won't play any channels. But if I use like when Gears was still around, I tried that and it worked fine. Sports Access worked fine. Other ones work fine. Like 404 was working for me. What should we call it? Checkmate worked for me, but for some reason Easy didn't. I didn't try Varo in the car, but it's weird. It's like it just refused to like work with Easy. Now I know Easy split their database recently, so I'm gonna try it again and see if maybe it has something to do with the way it was set up somehow. It's kind of bizarre thing, but so that's one thing to be leery. It works great for everything like streaming links, premiumized real to Brit, no problems. I ran it great on that. I just had that one problem with Easy for some reason, but literally only on this device. So I have T-Mobile in this device and it won't play the channels, but I have a T-Mobile SIM card in my cell phone and it plays the channels. So it's weird. I don't get it. I couldn't figure it out. But also if I tried to use my T-Mobile phone as a hotspot, it still wouldn't play the channels, but it played directly on the phone. So I was really perplexed by that. I might have to try maybe a different app. I can't figure out what the reasoning is behind that. Like I said, that was only for easy and very limited devices. Only T-Mobile. I have an AT&T SIM card on another phone, and that works fine. Does your car setup work for streaming? It would, yeah. But I'd have to like use my cell phone like I'm using now in the car, I guess. There's no like I don't have a webcam in the car. That would be pretty dope though if I did. I wonder if I could do that. Get like an actual webcam in the car. I got like so many cameras in the car, but none of them are webcams. But I could definitely stream from the car. It would just be really noisy because my car is loud. I don't have my key here. Otherwise I could start it. It's upstairs. Probably need a good VPN. Yeah, that's another thing I want to try. I want to try loading a VPN through the headset on the car, like through the actual radio. Since it's Android, I'm gonna like throw Nord on there and fire it up and see if it lets me play Easy that way. But I'm really not sure how that's gonna pan out. For now though, what I really need to do is clean, because this is terrible. It's just atrocious around here. I need to clean all this up. He's so ugly. But I do have some plans here. I'll share that with you guys. I'm going to be changing the way this whole desk is done. Instead, what I want to do is I need a wider back desk. I don't want to have this rounded corner anymore like this. I want them to be all my monitors against this one wall to the corner of the wall, right? So right there. So one long desk that goes from right here all the way to the corner. And it's going to be a little bit of a wider sticking out desk. And then that's going to house, like for now, this computer, eventually the main PC when I build it. But for now, this computer with the 3 monitors, the Xbox will be there so I could plug it in. The Shield, which I don't even know where that is right now because it's too messy over here. But somewhere around here, the Shield, it'll hold all that stuff right here. So that'll be one desk. I have to leave the AC near the window, but I think I'm going to put that all the way into the corner right there and just run the tube out maybe the other side there on the right side. I'll figure that out. And then I want to put like a smaller desk on this wall right here with like a space to it. So closer to the window, a smaller desk. I just want to have some stations, and I want to get rid of all this here and put something that's more like probably a desk also, but a kind of low one, and some sort of TV on the wall there. Try to figure all that out. So it's going to be interesting. I want to have like 3 separate stations, so that I can, like, one of them would be kind of like a workbench, sort of workstation, so I could build on. The other thought I had was maybe putting a workstation right here in the middle of the floor, but this room is really not that big. It's only like this wall to this wall, I think, is about 12 feet. And then from this corner to that corner is about 8 feet. The room goes wider, but like over here too, this was a cat tree. I originally wanted to have my cat come down here with me, but she refuses. So I'm going to get rid of this and put some sort of storage that goes all the way from the floor up, because I just need it to fit up there. It's got an electrical here too. So I want like storage drawers here, so I can just pull out drawers, put different things in, different things at different heights in the drawers. And then I got the closet here, which is just full of stuff now. More hats. See? Hats. car stuff on that side. But I even still have a little cat litter box that I bought for my cat on this side. She just absolutely refuses to come down here. So that's just empty litter, been empty forever. And some lights and car crap in there. That's really that. More car stuff up here. Have I tried the new Shield remote? The remote is available. Oh yeah, I have the new Shield upstairs in my living room. I love it. I want to get a new Shield for down here, but I think I'll just stick to the, I have a 2017 Shield sitting down here somewhere. I think I'll stick to that and just buy the new remote. Because I'm not really going to be using, I'm going to be using that Shield to show you guys stuff. And the menu options really aren't that different. So at least for now, I'll probably stick with the 2017 one down here. And, but I have the Pro, the 2019 Pro in my living room, and the regular 2019, the cylinder one in my bedroom. And they both run fine. No problems with it. I should have brought my camera down here. I have some, I'm gonna end up with a new camera too, but that's upstairs. I'll show you guys that in the next video. I don't have the lens for it yet or anything. I'm still waiting on some stuff that has to get delivered before I can plug it into the computer. But anyway, that's my idea. I just want to do this one wall, having the monitors and the PC up on top of the desk, which I need a thicker desk for, because as you can see, that PC is kind of big for the depth of the desk. This desk is only, I think it's 2 feet, 24 inches or 23. 23 and a half, I think, actually, front to back. And like I don't need this one giant long desk. That's all my HD home run stuff is there. It's got a ton of wires. I just feel like I could clean it up more, separating everything. So like this smaller desk that would go on this side would house all my networking stuff. And I'd run one long tube on the wall to run wires across to this side of the desk, like underneath. And I'm probably going to lower this too a little bit. Oh my goodness. What is wrong with people? All right, Bill, take care. Somebody, go ahead and ban the James Reddington character. Oh my God. Where do these trolls come from? Like, do you guys have no lives? It's so funny. Ridiculous. People are crazy. Seeing like this here, I can change the height of these things. So I want to lower the height down of everything. But as you can see, then it's not holding it up. Where are these trolls? Like, we didn't used to have such a troll problem. And like now YouTube is just full of trolls. It's so ridiculous and sad. But I'd like to get these at least all regular height. Putting the desk right on top of here, first of all, takes away my ability to do, like, put things up here, which I really like. But I also need my height to be more level with the camera when it's up there behind the monitor. Because when I sit now, you can see this is my eye height, and the camera's up, And even if I raise my seat all the way up, I don't think I can go much higher up than this is. It's pretty close, but now this is my eye height. So I'm still below that monitor. So I'm hoping that just pushing all these tabs down a little bit will make that work a little. Somebody said, how's the new PC? So you take it all apart, but how does it work? So far it's working good. I just did some more upgrades to it. It's right there, Bebs. I was doing some stuff with it. I upgraded the fans and the RAM so far and put in my capture cards. James said, what computer did I get? On Micro Center, it's called the Main Gear, right? So it's this company name, Main Gear. And then Vibe, VYBE, version 2 on their website. It's the one that has the AMD 3900X processor. That's the one that I ended up purchasing from there. The only thing I'd say I don't like about this computer so much is probably this motherboard. and that's only because they have their limited compatibility, but of RAM sets for 64 gigs. But you know, it's a good motherboard. What's up, Kiko? It's just I don't know. I don't hate it. It's fine. It's good quality. The VRMs are nice. It seems to be overclockable, but overclocking Ryzen processors is very hard anyway. So I don't know, I'm gonna go eat some food now, I guess, then come back down here and try to clean up and get this stuff in as good of order as I can to begin cleaning up uh, and then hopefully maybe tonight I'll try to go live from this PC if I can get it cleaned up and put in place well enough. I'm gonna be missing some stuff, like all my graphics and everything are on this other PC. I'll probably have to turn that one on first, upload a bunch of stuff to Google, my Google Drive, then download it onto the new one. I got a lot of graphics on there. I also want to use a new software for streaming, so I think I'm gonna have to set that up too. But if anything, I could go live with both softwares, not during the Oscars. You know what I think about the Oscars, Yo-Yo? Trash. It's trash TV. Bunch of rich folks giving each other awards. Trash. It's like, yes, I know. See, I won't go live during the Super Bowl. I won't go live during UFC fight. But I'll go live during the Oscars. I don't care about the Oscars. But if I do go live, it'll just be a quick test anyway. I won't be staying on that long. It's just if I can get this all set up tonight and ready to go, and I need to like dust down here. I haven't really used this place in like 3 months before I came down and then found the computer messed up. Then I started digging out wires and kicking up dust. So got some cleaning to do. But I'll get that all done today and hopefully go on tonight. And so now I understand the trolls. All right, so then I take care. Could I buy a chair? So, nah, this chair already takes me off. Like, this is the Titan from Secret Lab. It's pretty high. I already raised it to its highest setting. So you can see, like, it's not that bad. It's pretty close to level. I just need it to be a little bit lower. And I think it'd be all right. But even at this level, it's not that bad. And I think the Omega goes to the same height, actually, as the highest height. But it'll be all right. If anything, I could maybe put the Samsung monitor stands back on because I think those go lower than these because I have them on Vivo stands right now right here. And I think I have the original Samsung stands in the closet. I might be able to put the original Samsung stand back on the monitor and then move the monitor a little lower, and that could help too to level it out. But I just know that this not being here, which I screwed into the top of the drawers, it's if I just put the desk flat on top of this, it's too low. Like I can't I feel like I'm way too low doing that. Some people can do it, it depends on their height, but it doesn't work well for me. I don't like it. And I got a few other things coming too. Like even though I have the camera, I need this Elgato multi-mount arm. I forgot exactly what it's called, but I think it's kind of the same premise as these light stands here, except at the end there's like this whole thing that you can totally customize. So you can have a bracket that comes this way off of it, then another one that goes that way, and another one that goes down. So I'm gonna take this mic because I like this mic better than the other mic I have, and attach it to one of those multi-mounts and kind of swing it around down low and just have it coming up like right there, like right here in front of me on the desk. So it'll be like right there. And then the camera needs one of those to go up in the back, come forward and rest right at the top of the monitor, because it's not like a webcam where you have, where you have this, where you can just put it up there. it's going to be like a full-on camera. So the quality of the videos should be like a gazillion times better once I get that camera in. The camera's upstairs now, but I have no lens and no mount for it as of yet. So a few things left to do. BIOS update, which I should be getting. You believe me, of all people, I don't have a 16 gig USB stick. I need a 16 gigabyte USB stick so I can format it in FAT32. All right, Roland, take care. So it's format it in FAT32, and then I can update the BIOS. And then I still need another one to use as like my Windows installed disk, even though I hope to not really need that right now. But you always want one, just one on the side. But you know how cheap they are? I got a SanDisk 16 gig for, I think it was $4 and change from SanDisk. And it was a USB 3.0 stick too. I was like, dang, like 16 gigs is nothing for a USB stick now. But that's all you need to do BIOS updates, because that has like a BIOS flashback feature. So you don't even need like you could flash the BIOS without a CPU or anything in there. Where did I buy the desks? These tops right here, basically the drawers are from IKEA and the desktop is from IKEA. It's very cheap. I mean, the drawers are not super cheap. I think they're like maybe $120 something per drawer, or 140 maybe. So I have 4 of those. And then in the corner, this piece curves, right? And there's one leg back there that screws into the back of it, and the rest is held up by the drawer. So the drawer and the countertops are from IKEA, but this I bought on, I believe, Amazon, and it's just meant to be like furniture legs, but I screwed it into the top of the desk to give it more height off of here. And that kind of lets me put, chargers and things up there, and it's easier for me to access plugs. So I don't really want to lose that functionality of being able to do that by putting it all the way flat. So I think I might have to switch back to the Samsung stands to the monitors. But the last thing I need to do is get to rearrange this is to just get a wider desk from front to back. The one that I want is like a kitchen countertop from IKEA, and this is also hollow. It's actually particle board in here and like cardboard. I can't drill in it. So that's why everything has everything is like this with a bracket holding it in. Even the lights in the back right there, brackets are on the bottom. I can't drill. So I could never mount a monitor mount into here or anything like that. It'll just break. But they make a kitchen countertop one, which they don't really make it in that color, but it's solid wood. It's more, I think it's like $180 for a 95-inch long one, which this space right here, from, if I can flip this around, from that corner there to that wall is like 90. Oh no, I think it's the one from IKEA is 92 inches, and this wall is 95 or something like that. I can't remember. It fits though, and it's just it sticks out a little further. I have this thing from Bosch, which is pretty cool. I use this to it's hard because I have, but you can turn this on and it gives you like the laser. Problem is I have these foams here. So you see that's 3 feet 1 inches, and it includes the length of this. But if you go out a little bit, it's so much harder for me to do it now. I probably have to do it from up here. See, it's 8 feet 1 inches to the foam, basically. So whatever that works out to in inches, 8 times 12, that's 80. And then 2 times 8 is 16, 96, 97 inches, something like that. And I think it's 95 across them. So I would have like 2 inches, which is perfect. So I kind of use that for all my measurements to figure out how it's going to go. But I need a more solid, thick desk, because then I can do things like drill holes for cable management, and like I could take the keyboard wires and the mouse wires and just have them go right down through the desk so you don't even see any wires in the desk. I like that kind of stuff. I hate cables everywhere. I had this pretty neat until I broke my computer, or well, I didn't break it, but the computer broke, and then I had to pull all this crap up here trying to like disconnect everything and reconnect it. I was checking this damn computer to see what the problem was with it, and now it's just horrible right here. So that's what I kind of want to get rid of, all that stuff. But anyway, I'm gonna go eat some food. That's my printer, which I never set up down here either. It was set up upstairs, but I never set it up when I came downstairs. I see Donnie says USB 2.0 flash drive 3-pack, $14. Yeah, that's a good price, man. But I literally bought. I'll share it with you guys later. I bought a USB 3.0 16 gig SanDisks for like it was like $4.88 for each one. So and that was with a 3.0 drive. I was like, damn, because that's what I saw first was like USB 2.0 ones, and I was like, those are even cheaper, but like just a little cheaper. I was like, yeah, I'll get the 3.0, just the little extra speed, because the price difference was so negligible. They're like almost the same price for those. So I got to set up this uninterruptible power supply that I opened to and just clean up as best I can in here. The only thing I can't get rid of is this main gear box yet, where the PC came in, because it got to make sure it all works. But I think it's fine. It seems good. I just got to test out the USB. Make sure don't have that weird problem with the webcams. But I don't think I will. Should be all right. I think this is going to be the PC for the foreseeable future. And I will start saving up again to buy the other one and build it. Well, to buy the parts and build. I'll build the monster tower. And then I'll probably use one PC just for gaming, one just for streaming, and tie them into each other. And the one that I use to stream will also be for like video editing and stuff too. So that'll be a good setup at the end of the day. That's kind of why I want the separate stations. I don't know. I just feel kind of cluttered with this one long desk for some reason, even though there's a lot of space here. It doesn't feel organized. And I feel like if I can, I'm the type of person that likes separate organization. So I just feel like if I can make separate stations for separate things, that one, the room will look a little more open, a little bigger. And this kills me. Like, this is useless back here. This whole holding all this stuff here. And just, like, I don't care about, like, these are all just boxes I should have threw out because I'm using all these things already. So I'd rather turn this into something more useful too and put a computer on the back wall there. So I'll get there. Stadia. I still got all this stuff here too. Like, I have boxes I haven't even opened or looked at. This was a box that was sent to me that when the computer broke, I was supposed to review this box, Ugos AM6. So I'll do that once I get it up and running again too. But S922X, 2 gigs of RAM. It looks kind of like a similar spec'd out to the B-Link, just a little less RAM. And then I got another box over here too, under this Netgear box that I was supposed to review also that they sent me, this Vankyo Matrix box, which feels pretty light, actually. Oh, it's the X95X Max. That's basically what that is. Vankyo just... so what is this? 4 gigs of RAM, 64 gigs of ROM, A95X Max, yeah. So that's that. And I gotta return these, what's up, it's that time. What's up, Casper? So yeah, I gotta do those things. But I gotta get the PC back up. And I opened and unboxed this Vankyo projector. That was like the last video I did before. Oops. I just dropped the side of my PC case, but not the glass side. I did that just before I had to go crazy at work, and so that was like the last video that was up there for a while. I still haven't used it. Haven't had a chance. I got all the power cables for it. I'll plug it in. Probably throw a shield on it. Check that out. But I also ordered a Philips Pico. I think it's called Pico Pix 2. It's either Pico Max or Pico Pix. And it was on a crowdfunding site, right? So did you do a complete test of new system from Micro? Yeah, I upgraded some stuff in it. I just gotta actually run it now. Like, it's running. I did graphics tests and whatever. It doesn't seem to have a problem. I did a CPU benchmark, graphics benchmark. So I think it's fine. But I gotta like plug it in and actually use it for what I'll use it for every day. Am I going to be doing more vids on the Shield? Yes, I will be once I get this computer set up and everything plugged back into it. I can't do any vids on the Shield from my cell phone, really. It doesn't work out so well. I guess I could, but it would be a pretty lame way to do it. I'd be like, point this at my TV, and here you go. So, but I'll get this. We're very close now, at least. I just need to clean up, plug all this stuff in, and then I'm not going to worry too much about like my desk setup right now because I don't have the other desk to put in its place. But I'll order that desk, get it shipped in, then I'll put it in its place. And the good thing is I can still reuse these desks. Like these are pretty short. This goes from here to here. It's so for a single desk setup, it won't be that bad. Like I can put one small station here and maybe the other part here. I would just lose this curving piece and maybe I could do the same setup. And I have 4 drawers for it, so I could do that perfectly. I can make the other small setup over here. Or if I wanted to, get an even longer one. So I don't have to lose everything that I've already paid for. I can just repurpose it, sort of. I don't like to waste, so if I can repurpose, I will. So we'll see. I got ideas for how to fill it out anyway. But I'll let you guys get going. Enjoy your Sunday. Power season finale. Well, series finale is tonight if you guys watch Power. I'm looking forward to that one. I don't really like how the season went in general, just the way they did it. But I watched that show from the beginning, so I liked it. That's going to end. So I'll be watching that tonight too. That's like the only thing I'll do other than eat and clean. I'll watch Power. All right, guys. I'll talk to you later. Mods, thank you to it's that time. Ask me, hold on. What tools did I use to test the new system and what I recommend for a replacement? It depends what you have and what you need to do, honestly, like as far as recommending for a replacement. This PC is overkill, like for if you're not doing things like what I do, where gaming with it, streaming with it, showing you guys YouTube with it, stuff like that, then you need a more powerful system to really handle those things, video editing, photo editing. I also use that PC for my regular job too. So, because sometimes I'll work from home. So it's, depends what you need. Donnie says IDA 64 Extreme for AMD testing. Yeah, you can definitely use that. Could you build a tower that has an integrated bong or vape? I'm sure you could, but it wouldn't be the best idea. Just for streaming and gaming. 4K gaming, 1080p gaming, that makes a big difference. You 1440p. I mean, gaming is what costs the most, honestly. Like if you want to gaming, video editing, things like that, that costs more than anything. But the prices aren't too bad now. Like cheap, no, but can 4K gaming. All right, so if you want a 4K game, honestly, like reliably 4K game without even bringing streaming into the equation, I think you kind of need a 2080 Super if you're trying to play new titles for your graphics card, which is the graphics card that's in here now is a 2080 Super. I'm not even sure that it'll 4K game and stream at the same time very well, but if you set up the streaming to use the CPU as much as possible and less of the GPU, I think you could get away with it. That's what I'm going to be trying to do when I try to do some 4K with this machine. And then money for dollar wise, Ryzen 3000 series is the best bet, like money for dollar. But I mean, performance, the Intel 9900K or KS is still technically like the fastest frames per second gaming processor. But that's just for gaming. It doesn't do better in almost anything else because the Ryzen 3000 series is, well, depending on which one you get. Like, if you want to take advantage of it, you need a 3900X minimally. 3950X would be better. But 3900X is 12 cores and 24 threads. So that's what's in this machine. So when you're doing things like gaming and streaming at the same time, it's going to be way more effective at handling that overall than a PC with just 8 cores. You're just stressing it less. That's not to say you couldn't do it with the i9. You can. Plenty of people do. But that's, the other thing about the Ryzen 3000 series is you got PCI Express Gen 4 on the, as long as you get an X570 motherboard, much faster storage and transfer rates. The PCI Express lanes are faster, which right now doesn't help you with your graphics card, but if you're building one from scratch or buying one, I feel like you should probably get that because you're going to wind up with a much just a more future-proof system. And PCI Express Gen 4 is starting to become prevalent already. You're getting storage for it that's way faster as far as like SSD drives that can run through there. Right now, we've got to see what the 30 series of NVIDIA graphics cards does. Do they use PCI Express Gen 4? They might, because from my understanding, the Z390 motherboards pretty much don't have Gen 4 PCI Express due to some sort of compatibility issue, but there might be a few select ones that will. But the one after for Intel will use PCI Express Gen 4 also. So, pardon me, at that point, Donnie says need 2 graphics cards, one gaming, one streaming, running at the same time. I mean, you could try that, which I may end up trying in the PC that I build, but it will never fit in here because you need space for, capture cards and all that. Can you disable the Wi-Fi capability rather than turn off the feature? Sure. Like I have a lot of these motherboards have, this motherboard has Wi-Fi 6 built into it, but I have it plugged in with Ethernet, so the Wi-Fi is off. Alienware does that. Oh, like with the 2 graphics cards? Yeah, you could put it in anything. I could fit it in here. Like I could buy another one of these same exact cards and put them in a SLI bridge. Problem is, that's not going to let me plug in anything else to the PCI Express slots behind there. So I need to be able to capture like the shield when I'm using it, and I need to get it into the PC. So in the back of the computer, I have a capture card for that, which I had to plug into the PCI Express slot, which I could show you. So like right here, this is an Elgato capture card in the PCI Express slot. So I can take my Xbox or my Shield and put it in the in port. Then it goes through the PCI Express lanes and I can see it on the computer inside Windows. And then out would let me send that, it'll pass through there, but still go out to a TV or an external monitor if you want. And this one just came with the computer and it's USB 3.2 ports and a controller inside. So I left that there because I figured it might be functional for something. But I'm going to use those ports anyway for my 4K Sony cam, which I got upstairs. Once I get that going, I think I'll just plug the Sony cam into that because the bandwidth is so high it shouldn't bottleneck it at all. It's going through PCI Express. But in order to fit 2 graphics cards in there, I couldn't also have that capture card. I wouldn't have the space. And so that's kind of the problem, which is why most people that really do 4K gaming and streaming use 2 PC setups. They have their streaming PC, and that one gets all the capture cards and everything in it, and then you have your gaming PC, which you put 2 graphics cards in, and you just run one of your right out of the back of one of the graphics cards. You run the HDMI out into the streaming PC, and it picks that up. So you separate them in two. What I'm trying to do for now, while I save the money to build the actual computer I want to build, is use this to do it all, which it will. I just might have to, make some concessions here and there on how it handles some things, but overall, it's going to be fine. It'll get the job done for quite a while, and it's going to look way better once I get this thing going and I get the new camera set up and all that stuff. Everything should look so much crisper and cleaner and nicer on the live streams and on the recorded videos too. So just got to get that done, and then it's going to be more about just redesigning the room, making it more useful for storage, for more aesthetically pleasing in general. And that's really it. So and then from there I'll build the other computer. So I just got to accumulate And even the things that I bought for this one, I used like Amazon gift cards that I had gotten, whether it was for service or people just sending it. So like I bought the RAM with that, the camera with that, but all that stuff was gonna have to go on the new PC anyway. So when I get the new PC, I just transfer it in there. So it's all it's all good. So I'll keep on dishing out services and making Amazon gift cards an option for some people, stuff like that, and just slowly save between that and just me saving on the side too, doing what I can until I can build the other machine. But the other machine, like this computer, was $2,500 before the upgrades I did to it. Then I added stuff into it, so it ended up, I don't know, just the computer. I spent another $600 on RAM, and then the fans were 2040 60. Figure with tax and everything, $80 on RAM, so $680 on top of that. So $3,180 would basically be the price as it's configured now. But then I bought a capture card, and I bought camera, and I bought it always adds up. It's so expensive. All that stuff ends up costing a fortune. But at the end of the day, I had a discussion on the first one I came back. I told people, do what you love, spend money on what you love, and as long as I'm using that, not just for me, I also use that computer. That computer will make me money. I use it for different jobs. I'll use it to video edit. I'll use it to run YouTube. I'll use it. There's so many purposes for it that spending the money on it comes back to you. McMahon says, "Look, your live looks crisp to me now." That's on an iPhone camera right now. Wait till you come back and you see what happens when I get the other camera set up, the Sony, which I got sitting upstairs. Because they shipped out separately, I got the camera yesterday. I got the dummy battery for it yesterday that lets you keep it powered the whole time. And I got a bracket that lets me, because I'll be able to actually connect those little wireless mics to that. Close to the same. I would trust your judgment. Yeah, James, I can. Are you on a computer or are you on your phone? The specs on this are really easy to get. I can't type on here, I don't think, because I'm live on. It doesn't let me type. It doesn't, as I'm on the phone. But if you look at this box, right, it's the main gear Vibe. And if you go to microcenter.com, microcentr.com, if you live near a micro center, you can just go to one and get it. But I can leave this here so you can read that. That's what it comes with. I upgraded that RAM. I now have 64 gigs of DDR4 3600 RAM. I added 2 more storage drives. So I left that main one right there as the boot drive. Then I got a 2 terabyte NVMe SSD, and I added a Samsung QVO SATA SSD. And that 2080 Super is still there. Power supply that comes with it. It's got a 240 millimeter, but it's all built like this. I just made a few changes to it. And the chassis, which is the case, is the Vibe MKV. You can buy this case by itself. It's like $120 or $125. I found it on like Amazon, but the company that makes the case is Main Gear, right? But I believe what happened here with this computer is that this computer is a collaboration between Micro Center and Main Gear, because if you go to Main Gear's website, they do not sell this computer, because this is called the Vibe V2 on on Micro Center's website. It's Vibe, VYBE, V2, because the V1 is an Intel system. That one actually has like a 2080 Ti and a 9900K, and I was very interested in that at first, but it was all custom water cooled already, which is cool, but you gotta know it. You need a lot of maintenance for the custom water cooling. I'd rather do an AIO for my graphics card and an AIO for my CPU, rather than build a whole loop. The loop looks nice, it's cool, it's awesome, but then you got to worry about getting stuff wet, and it's so much harder to maintain and keep, and when you got to fill it up, drain it. If a part goes bad, you got to drain your whole system. Like, I like the AIOs because they're enclosed. Like, I believe that water is better for cooling, but a custom water loop is, to me, just like for my personal use, just too much. They're beautiful, but it's just I don't want to deal with all maintaining that constantly. So I kind of like this Vibe V2 also because I was gonna go Ryzen anyway, and this gave me a legit motherboard that has PCI Express Gen 4 in it, and it gave me, even though it was pre-built, it's not a proprietary build from like Dell or Alienware, some crappy motherboard that you can't buy anywhere, and you're not forced to use tiny graphics cards in it that will only fit. Like, people buy these Alienware Auroras, which I was looking at too, and I'm like, they're cool looking, great looking case. Did I buy the system with Micro Center service plan? No, I just bought the system. They give you 15 days to return, no questions asked, which is what I did with the laptop when I bought it. And I bought it last Monday. So I've already upgraded it, done whatever I'm going to do to it, and now I'm ready to plug it in. So I'll have this whole week to mess with it. I bought it, when did I buy it? I swapped it out. It was like a week ago. So I still have like at least 7 days left, and I'll use it probably tonight, the next 3 or 4 days, just diligently do some video editing, do some live streaming, everything that I need to do with it to make sure it's fine. And then I'll just leave it be, because if something's broken, you're going to know. Just like I figured out with that laptop. Those of you that saw me stream live with that laptop and it was having that tearing issue, I set that whole laptop up and it was great, but it had a USB problem. Something was wrong with the USB power delivery or something. And I tried so many different drivers for the controller, anything that was available. Nothing made a difference. Chipset changes didn't matter. If you purchase it, could I help you test it? I mean, I could tell you what to do to test it, but it's not hard to tell if something's really wrong. And if something, the reason I like these is because if something's wrong, right, each component is individual, right? So it's already here. They test it before they sell it to you, so that's a good indication right away. But like, if you buy this and the graphics card is bad, you could tell right away. You can just take out the graphics card. You can, if it's not booting up, you can try taking out the RAM. So everything's here, and even the motherboard is like a motherboard that could be rebought. Or I could change this motherboard out for another one that I like later and just unplug everything from the board. It looks complicated, but it's really not that complicated. There's very few parts that are going to be bad. But, testing wise, I guess you just stress test it is probably the best way. So you would install something like IDA64, TimeSpy, and programs that will stress test the system to see if it reboots or has an issue under heavy draw. If it doesn't, then it's fine. It's not too hard to test. And if you buy it from Micro Center, if you live near one, you can always bring the PC to them and they'll test it for you too. Like, if you say, oh, I think there's a problem or something, they would test it out for you. They have like a whole center there that does that. So it's pretty cool. But all right, for now I'm gonna go, because otherwise I'm gonna end up spending the whole day doing nothing. And I want to try to clean up and get into using this computer. So I'll talk to you guys later. Stay supreme. Be good. I'm going to go eat something because I'm hungry. And I'll be back hopefully later on tonight with a system plugged in, and we'll do like a more normal show. But it'll be a quick one just to make sure, webcams work and everything's functioning fine. And from there, I'll set up the camera during the week, come back, and you'll see the new camera setup. And we'll keep it moving. All right, guys, take care. Be good. Stay supreme. Peace out. Enjoy your Sunday. Talk to y'all later. Adios.